Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Watch. I'm Chris Bianchi. In a few short moments, we will have a press conference from the Denver Police Department that is in relation to a string of incidents that happened last night, including the deadly shooting of an adult male in the Sloan's Lake neighborhood, just the south of Colfax Avenue in the Sloan's Lake neighborhood back on Tuesday night. Now, first incident that we had last night was a deadly shooting of an adult student, as I mentioned, of the Yeshiva Taurus Haim School on the 1500 block of North Stewart Street. Police said that they are looking for 3 different vehicles in connection to this string of incidents that happened last night, including, again, that deadly shooting that took place on the 1500 block of North Stewart Street. And we may get an update here in the next few minutes about that search. Also of note, the Denver Police Department said that the suspects should be considered armed and dangerous. Anybody with information on the location of 3 different vehicles, I'm going to read them out quickly for you. The 2018 Honda CRV, Colorado license plate number CGO W44, dark blue 2020 Toyota Camry, license plate number AGN Z29, and also a stolen 1998 Toyota RAV4, license plate number AGN Z29. So again, if anybody has any information on those 3 vehicles or those suspects in relation to those incidents from last night, you are asked to call Crime Stoppers at 720-913-7867 or visit MetroDenverCrimeStoppers.com. Tipsters can remain anonymous and are potentially eligible for an award for up to $2,000. So that's the overview there. You're going to hear from Denver Police Chief Paul Pazin, as well as Denver Police Department Major Crimes Division Commander Matt Clark. So you'll hear from both of them come up here in a few short moments, and it looks like that press conference just about to get going here. So we're going to go over to that. Again, Denver Police Department providing an update on that string of violent incidents from last night.
No, door behind you. First of all, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanking each of you for helping to spread the word about a horrific series of crimes that occurred last night. And we need everybody in our community to help us identify who these individuals are and bring them to justice as quickly as possible. I do want to start by sharing our condolence and our grief with the family, the friends, the community in the loss of an 18-year-old in West Denver. We want to share our grief not only for the death that occurred at Yeshiva Torah Chaim, but all 60 other victims of homicide that have occurred this year. Our thoughts are also with an individual who's battling for their life that was part of a shooting, the victim of a shooting at Colfax and Lafayette last night. As you will hear shortly, we believe that this homicide and aggravated assault firearm, this shooting, that they were part of a larger crime spree that took place last night. Since this homicide, the death investigation took place at an Orthodox Jewish school, we want to make sure that people know and understand what we can share at this time and what we can piece together based on this series of events. I want to share that our team, Major Crimes Patrol, that our federal partners are working shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand, to try to address this crime spree and, again, hold these individuals accountable for this crime. Based on preliminary information that we have at this time, it does not appear at this moment that this is a bias-motivated crime. Again, we think that this is part of a larger crime spree. However, we are not ruling that out. And as evidence comes in, as we're able to determine a motive, if applicable charges, if there's any indication that this is a bias-motivated crime, we certainly will add those charges. We recognize how violent the activities took place last night, and we cannot allow this to become status quo in our city. Our department is committed to holding these individuals accountable and working with our community in order to provide a safer city as well as prevent violence in this community. We have directed our patrols to focus on these events that have taken place in order to enhance security for our neighborhoods. Lastly, our community is our eyes and ears. They help us to identify individuals who are responsible for crimes like this, and we're asking for their help. We're asking if anybody has seen these vehicles, if anybody knows anything about these crimes, that they call us. They call us right away at the Crime Stoppers number, 720-913-STOP, where they can remain anonymous and receive some sort of reward. But we need help. We need help to get these violent individuals off the street as quickly as possible. Now I want to bring up Commander Matt Clark from Denver Police Major Crimes Division to share the details that we can at this time. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Again, I'm Matt Clark, Commander of the Major Crimes Division. Thank you for being here today as we provide additional information about the series of violent offenses that started last night. Please understand that the investigation of these incidents that I'll describe and provide a chronology for are in their early stages. Our investigators are diligently working to identify and apprehend the offenders involved in each of these incidents. And at this point, without having the offenders in custody, I am not able to definitively answer the obvious question of why did these occur and what was their motivation. With that being said, I'll provide an overview of the chronology as we know it at this point. On Tuesday, August 17th, at approximately 10 p.m., the Denver Police Department received a report regarding individuals breaking into a vehicle in the parking lot of a business in the 2700 block of West Alameda. There were individuals in the area who witnessed the offenders breaking into the vehicle, and they approached and questioned them about their actions. This resulted in the offenders producing a handgun and pointing it at our witnesses. The witnesses backed away. Fortunately, no one was injured in that interaction, and the offenders fled in a 2020 blue Toyota Camry. At about 10:50, Denver police officers were called to the area of Colfax and Grape on a report of a carjacking incident. The victim in that case had parked his vehicle in the parking lot and gone into a nearby business. The suspects arrived in the stolen Camry that was used in the prior event. One of the offenders entered the victim's vehicle, and when the victim recognized this, he approached his vehicle and that offender. That individual produced a handgun and pointed it and threatened our victim. The victim's vehicle was a 2018 maroon Honda CR-V, and the victim in that incident was not injured. Approximately 20 minutes later, at around 11:10 p.m., an adult male was walking in the area of Colfax and Lafayette when he was approached by several males who were wearing masks. These individuals ordered him to the ground and proceeded to rob him. One of the offenders during the robbery incident fired a round from a firearm, then that struck the victim. That victim was transported to an area hospital where he remains in critical condition. Following that incident, the offenders were last seen headed westbound on Colfax, and they were associated with the maroon Honda CR-V at that point and the blue Toyota Camry. That takes us to approximately 11:35 when officers were called to the Yeshiva Taurus School at 1555 Stewart Street on a report of a shooting. Through the investigation at this point, it appears the victim was walking outside of the school when the suspects approached and began firing at the victim. We don't know if there was any interaction between the two at this point. The victim was struck by the rounds that were fired. He was transported to an area hospital, and he died from his injuries. The victim in that case is an adult male. He was a student of the school there. And further details regarding his identity will be released, I believe, today by the Office of the Medical Examiner. Following that incident, investigators learned that these individuals were involved in a burglary to a business in Lakewood. During that burglary, another vehicle was stolen, and that vehicle is a 1998 gray Toyota RAV4. That's the 5 incidents that we're aware of that are specifically related to these individuals at this point. The Denver Police Department's actively working with the victims and their families to ensure that they receive the support and resources needed after experiencing these traumatic events. Investigators from multiple units within the police department as well as surrounding jurisdictions are focused on quickly identifying and apprehending these individuals that are responsible for these crimes. We did release a Crime Stoppers bulletin earlier this morning with the 3 vehicles that we are still looking for. Those are outstanding vehicles that we are looking to obtain. Anyone with information about these incidents, the vehicles, the offenders are asked to call Crime Stoppers, 720-913-STOP. We do consider these individuals to be armed. We know they have a high propensity for violence. So if one of these vehicles is seen, an offender is known or seen, please call the police department or Crime Stoppers. That's the information that I have. Take some brief questions. It was several hours, it was just after midnight. I don't have the exact time noted on that. That's the last we are aware of at this point.
This happened obviously a lot of incidents happen in very populated areas. Have witnesses come forward other than the ones that you mentioned, especially with the
Yes, through the investigation, we do have several witnesses who have come forward with information. We have businesses that are cooperating and providing surveillance video, and we're following all the leads that are generated as a result of that. Right. We're looking at potentially at least four individuals at this point. That's what it sounds like at this point, yes. That at least four individuals were involved in that confrontation and robbery.
I was over at Stewart and saw several different windows shot out, at least two different in the car. Any idea how many bullets
There were multiple rounds fired. We do have a count. That's something we wouldn't release at this point, though. But yeah, there were multiple rounds fired. Correct. Correct. It is aiding in the investigation. Those cameras are aiding as well. Yep.
Any idea of what started this initially, why they went into that first business and why it just kind of kept escalating? Theories at this point?
Again, without having them in custody, the offenders in custody, that's something we're certainly working towards. And there are working theories as we move through this, but it'd be inappropriate and a little premature at this point to discuss that further.
The Lafayette and Colfax, where was, he said it was Keith.
Correct, sir, yes.
Where was he shot? With body?
I'm not certain. I don't know where he was shot. Yeah, the city Halo cameras, the private business cameras, neighborhood video, private surveillance on residential cameras are all being, we're seeking that. We have obtained a number of videos from different locations. Again, if anybody has private surveillance video, Ring camera, Nest camera video, please contact Crime Stoppers, the Denver Police Department, and provide that to us.
These different cars here, you mentioned the RAV4 at midnight that they jacked, and at this point, did they ditch the other ones, or do you believe they ought to have all of them at this point?
Our working theory at this point is that they have all the vehicles still, or have access to all the vehicles still. Correct.
Again, thank you very much for being here. Thanks for helping spread the word. We need the community's help on this. We need the people, not only of Denver, but the entire metro area, to be aware of how violent this group is. And we need to work together collectively in order to get them off the streets as quickly as possible. So I really appreciate you all spreading the word. Thank you very much. Have a safe rest of your day.